Hi everyone, Ro from Ro's Kitchen here. Got a really super easy, yummy recipe for you. 5 ingredients, you ready? Very good. I've got on my cutting board, I have chopped up carrots, real small. I have a little bit of chopped up fresh ginger, but don't worry, you can use dried or you can use my favorite squeeze tube. Find that in the produce department of most supermarkets. Chopped up onion, 1 can of coconut milk, and I use light coconut milk. Gotta watch those extra calories. And then I have 1 3/4 cups. I don't know why it doesn't call for 2, but it says 1 3/4, so I do 1 3/4. If I want to change it, I might. Vegetable broth, always vegetable broth, you know that. All right. Oh, and then a teaspoon and a half of curry. So I usually get it loose at the supermarket. This is from Whole Foods. And you know, if you're not using curry often and you just want to try it out, something like this is going to cost you, what, a dime, a nickel, a quarter? I don't know, something cheap. So it's worthwhile. You don't have to buy yourself a big jar, a big bag. I will tell you though, I did go to the Indian store and buy a big bag, but I'll open that later, only because I'm starting to get into more curry recipes. So I didn't do this ahead, so bear with me here. I'm going to do 1.5 teaspoons. So there's my 1 teaspoon. And then I'll eyeball my 1/2 teaspoon. And you know what? If you're not real keen on too strong a curry flavor, cut back. No, there's no crime. All right. So now this recipe, I like to saute my onions and my ginger first. So I have a pan right here. I'm going to turn you over this way now so you can watch this. I'm not going to be showing me. I'm going to show the cooking. So that's what we're here for, right? The recipe, the food, and all that. So here we go. So I'm going to put my stove on. I don't usually use this side, so bear with me here. Oops, wrong one. That figures. Okay, so I'm going to put it on a medium heat. And I'm going to put in my onions. I love those onions. Love the onions. And it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, I'm sure you don't have to saute. I just happen to like to. But actually, you can just throw everything in the pot and simmer it until the carrots are soft. But I don't know. I just feel like there's an extra flavor when you saute the onions and get them nice and caramelized a little bit. It adds some flavor to it. So this recipe is super easy. Like I said, we've got those 5 ingredients. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. 6 if I count my curry powder. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to saute these onions, and I'm going to go the fast track and get them sauteing a little quicker for us. Now, remember how we always did a dry saute with the onions? I'm just going to add a dash of vegetable broth. And I don't know if you remember, but one time I had mentioned to you when you're sauteing, you know, we do a water saute, but you know, you can also do with white wine. But so we're going to go ahead and get those to start simmering up a little bit. And then I'll also add in there my ginger. Now, it did call, oh, carrot filling, no big deal. It did call for ginger to be minced, but you know, I could have took out my little mincer machine, but I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to chop them up real quick. So it doesn't matter how big they are, because guess what? It's all going in the blender anyway, because it's going to be a creamy ginger coconut carrot soup. I'm not a big soup eater. I don't know about you, but I like soups that are simple but creamy. Even if I do a vegetable soup, I'll take half of it out, blend it, and pour it back in so it's like a creamy vegetable soup. I don't know. I guess that's from growing up as a kid eating cream soups when I would go out. Always had cream soups back then. All right, so they sauteed a little bit. They're not going to get real brown. I'm going to go ahead and add in the carrots because I don't want to hold you up. I want this to be a quick and simple recipe. And so we'll put that in there, okay? Get that stirred around. You can hear it sizzling up there a little bit. All right. And I used 3 long carrots, 3 pretty big carrots, but this isn't going to make a lot. This is making maybe 2 servings because I don't want to eat it every day. I'm kind of weird that way. So I'm going to put in the broth. Oh, maybe it'll make more than that. Maybe it'll make 4 servings. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the broth. And then I'm going to bring that up to a simmer. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. I'm going to also add in my curry and get that stirred around. So this is what it'll look like while it's cooking. And we're just going to let that stay on the stove, I would say 20 to 25 minutes. Now I want you to notice something. I am not using my Instapot. And not that I don't want to, and I know if I did it in the Instapot, the soup would be done in 5-10 minutes. But I wanted to share with you that we don't all have Instapots. So this is feasible. This is fine to do it this way. So I'm going to let this cook on the stove for about 20-25 minutes, and then this is what it's going to look like. So you can see how fast the soup is to make. It was only 12 minutes maybe, and originally it was supposed to be 20 to 25, but that's because I cut my carrots up so small that I just cut them up real tiny, you know. So now the next step is to let this cool a little bit, so I'll move it over to another burner. And then in the meantime, I'll go ahead and get my blender ready. And really, you could use any kind of blender for this. Obviously, of course, I'm going to be using my Vitamix, but you don't have to have a high-powered mixer for a blender for this. This is something that'll work even with a regular one. Now, most of the time in any blenders, you usually need to wait for it to cool, but because this is a Vitamix, I really don't need to do that. So we're fine just as is. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this, and we'll see how that comes out. It's going to be nice and creamy. Then we're going to put it back in the pot because we're going to add the coconut milk. And that's it. All done. So this is a nice, fast recipe. In the back, you can see my Instapot. I'm making my dogs their food. Here, I'll show you a scoop of it. So my dogs are vegans. They're very happy. They do eat some meat stuff, like meat treats. But this is their dog vegetable food. It's got brown rice, red lentils, all sorts of green veggies. Then I mixed in flaxseed and chia seeds. So I'm going to turn on my Vitamix, give it a start. That's it, done, pureed. So that's it. I'm going to puree it. When the steam stops, you'll be able to see that. And then we're going to go ahead and put it right back in the pot. So I'm going to put it in here. I might need a spatula to help it come down. My favorite Christmas one from my good friend Julie. Julie used to be Julie Brogan, then she got married, and she lives happily ever after in Florida. Thank you, Julie, for my spatula. I use it all the time. All the time. And Julie, if you ever watch this, I want you to know, every single time I grab this spatula to use, I think of you every single time. Isn't that special? So there it is. So now we've got that in the pot. I'm going to go ahead and put the heat back on. Oops. Put on low. Because now I'm going to slowly add in my coconut milk. So it's like a carrot puree. And then we're going to stir in that coconut milk. And then we're going to eat it. So it says medium. You know me. Very low on patience, and I want it now. And I got to tell you, too, the other thing is I'm hungry. So I need to do this now. So I'm going to go ahead and mix that up. You can see how mixed it's getting. It really is pretty, isn't it? As I mix it, I'll add more. I just don't want to add it all at once. I don't think it's a good idea. Okay? So I'll stir that up, get that color. It's almost like a pumpkin color, but it's carrots. I might add a little rice to this. I'll put my rice in my bowl first, and then I'll pour my soup over it because I do make a pot of rice for the week. Unless it's a potato week, then I make a pot of potatoes. But this is going to be I think this is going to be my rice week. Although I do have some rice left. Maybe it's left from last week, I don't know. So every time I pour, I wait until the white color is gone before I add the next batch of coconut milk. All right, guys, that's it. This recipe is complete. I'm gonna let that cook up. I'm gonna heat that up. Then we'll take a quick taste. And we have some nice carrot soup, carrot ginger coconut soup this week. Pumpkin and squash would be great with this. Let's see if it's ready yet for my taste. You ready? Oh my gosh, it's not hot enough, but it is delicious. Just the right amount of curry and just the right amount of ginger. Oh, I wish you could taste this. I'd say we are good to go. Whoops, come back here. I'd say we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in a bowl with some rice and sit down and enjoy my nice hot 5-minute carrot soup. Well, I shouldn't say 5 minutes, let's face it. We had to wait. I would say this shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes if you got everything prepped. Okay? Easy recipe. All right, guys. Make sure you go to my website, greenkitchenwithro.com. Click on share. No. Yes, click on share, but also click on shop and go look at my new ebooks. I am so proud of them. They're so good. Easy stuff. People who like pinto beans, I got like a week's worth of easy recipes with pinto beans. If you don't want to make the pinto beans in a pot, you can buy them in a can, refried beans, and just make all these recipes. There's a boatload of recipes on that one book. And then, other than that, make sure you, oh look. Woo, that's my kind of soup. That's the way I like it, super hot. All right, guys, I've kept you long enough. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. See you next time.